This video was brought to you by Elgato Gaming. If you want to step up your production quality, be it capture card, lighting, a professional face cam, or a stream deck to control your streams, then check out the link in the description. We've been enjoying Call of Duty Zombies for over 10 years now, and whilst there's been a ton of things we've loved about it, there's also been a few things which the community has absolutely hated. So today we're going to be looking at the 15 most hated things in Call of Duty Zombies history. Now, if you agree with any of the 15 points in this video, you need to click the like button to let me know, because as a fan of zombies, it's impossible for you to not agree with at least one of these points. And hey, if there's something else I didn't mention, let me know in the comment section below. And whilst you're down there, if your subscribe button hasn't been clicked yet, you might want to consider it, because we post a lot of awesome zombie videos here and I'd hate for you to miss out on them. But in no particular order, let's kick this off with number 15, the jet gun. Now, I don't think I need to say too much about this wonder weapon for you to realize why it's on this list. It's the first wonder weapon in zombies history to be a buildable, an optional weapon for you to have on your person but doesn't take you 2 slots. But oh my god, is this the most tedious, useless weapon we've ever seen in zombies. Some weapons just have a cooldown before you can use them again, but nope, not the jet gun. It defies logic and reason, and it breaks on you, scattering the parts around the map once again. Now, if you've forgotten, this has 4 parts in order to be built, with some of these parts having 4 different locations. In comparison to other parts you find scattered around zombies maps, there's normally 3, so this already broke the rule of 3. But the reason why it's one of the most hated weapons ever is because of the combination of having to go around the map to find the parts, building it, and it being essentially useless. This gun does have infinite damage, but the jet gun must be shooting at 40,000 RPM. Anything below that speed and the jet gun will do absolutely nothing. It also only lasts for 15 seconds of continuous firing before it breaks, and it takes around 40 seconds for the gun to fully cool down and be used again, making it absolutely useless. Given the little amount of impact it has on zombies in later rounds, you have to wonder, why on earth would you carry this weapon instead of carrying a shield? Why does it overheat after 5 seconds of use? Why doesn't it cool down when it's stowed away? And why can you only build it on 1 table in the entire map? Who even approved this idea in a zombies map? There's just too much work for something that works for only mere seconds before breaking down into pieces. Number 14, Denizens. These friendly creatures can be found on transit and spawn only in the fog and mist locations. And these were obviously designed to be a hindrance to the player to make the risk of going out into the fog even higher beyond visibility problems. But these things are absolutely relentless, jumping onto your face, scratching your eyeballs out, and making your life hell. They're an inconvenience for the sake of being one. They're not fun, and there's definitely at least one kid who's had nightmares from these. Luckily, these guys have never made a return. But then 2020 came around and they were for some reason added to Call of Duty Mobile Zombies, but now that's gone too, so I guess it was a good decision. I don't know. Number 13, Mystery Box RNG. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a game of chance just as much as the next person, but when certain maps require certain weapons to get from the mystery box, that's when the combination of that and RNG from the box becomes really frustrating. A great example is Moon from Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. Having to get the wave gun, the QEDs, and the Gersh devices is at times more difficult than the actual Easter egg itself. No one enjoys hoarding up zombies for rounds and then just to collect a bunch of points, drop them all on the box, and not get the weapon they need. Unless, you know, you're a crazy person and enjoy that. Number 12, the Removal of Juggernog. Now, it's no secret that Black Ops 4 Zombies significantly changed the way we play zombies, introducing a ton of new mechanics, elixirs, and perks. And most of our fan favorite perks made a return, but Juggernog sadly didn't make the return. Both Juggernog and Double Tap were removed from the game. Now, the reasoning is that Treyarch considered Juggernog to be a crutch perk, something which people relied on far too much and had to buy in order to survive. They also wanted people to be more innovative in their perk decisions, as well as overhauling the game's health system from 3 hits to 4. But to this day, many people still want Juggernog in Black Ops 4. It just doesn't feel like a zombies game without it, and even though it's considered a crutch, that doesn't stop people from missing it and absolutely hating Black Ops 4 for that very reason. Now the game's been out for nearly 2 years, let me know down below, do you still miss Juggernog in Black Ops 4, or have you gotten over it yet? Let me know. Number 11, Morse code steps. Over the years, Morse code has been used dozens of times in zombies, whether it's conveying cipher messages to full-blown Easter egg steps. It's a great way of getting people's brain brains working. But when it comes to Morse code being its own Easter egg step and then having to do that in solo, that's when you have a terrible combination. At this point in the life cycle of zombies, people are extremely fatigued at Morse code steps, and having to look something up online just for one brief moment is definitely frustrating. In my opinion, Morse code is fine for cipher messages, but when it comes to full-fledged Easter egg steps, it's a no from me, Chief. Number 10. Round 150 Classified Easter Egg. It's November 2018, and 9 Voyage and Blood of the Dead have all been completed. Each have their own main Easter egg quest involving multiple step-by-step activities for you to complete, but Classified had none. Instead, the only step was hidden behind a round completion, being round 150. Combining that with a game that isn't stable enough to even survive to round 150, and you have an absolute mess of an Easter egg. Getting to high rounds on zombies isn't that fun at the best of times, but having to force yourself to get to round 150 just to activate a ending cutscene did nothing but cause the community to dislike Black Ops 4 Zombies even more. Never has a zombies map had a round requirement for you to complete an Easter egg, and with that being the only step at such a high round number, it just never made sense, and it still doesn't make sense to this day. I'm very curious if any of you watching this video have actually completed it for yourselves. If you have, let me know down below. Number 9. EMP Exo Zombies. Formerly known as EMZs or electromagnetic zombie, are a species that have exosuits and can easily be distinguished from other zombies by blue electricity on their body. However, when a player is hit by an EMZ, it will produce an EMP which shuts down your exosuit, disabling it for 5 seconds. During these 5 seconds, you will not be able to use any of your abilities. Your vision will also be blurred. Without question, these are just as annoying as Denizens in transit. These just made the Exo Zombies experience even worse, and combining that with EMZs that can teleport in later maps as well as EMZ dogs, it's just the bane of Exo Zombies' existence. They're just an unforgivable nightmare. Number 8. Ascension Monkeys. Now don't get it twisted, I appreciate that Treyarch tried to change that, special round to be something that isn't a dog round and instead be monkeys, but oh boy, did this come with a price. Because dogs can't take away perks, but monkeys can. And whether you're playing the original or Black Ops 3 with a perkaholic popped, you've got a lot of things to worry about in that one round. These monkeys are small, harmless, maybe even considered cute, but when they're trying to take your quick revive and your widow's wine and you manage to not get to the perk machine quick enough, it's just not a good time. There's no denying that they are a better change of pace than dogs, but man, they are just so annoying. You sometimes forget that the round's gonna happen, and unlike a dog round, the monkeys don't have set spawns, so they could appear anywhere on the map, and it's up to you to run around like you're Tom and Jerry trying to find where these are before they take one of your perks. If you're playing Ascension right for high rounds in Black Ops 3, you shouldn't have too much worries, but in normal scenarios, yeah, you're gonna probably lose a perk or two. Number 7. Lava. Boy, oh boy, lava. Don't we just love it? Don't you love having over 50% of a playable floor space being taken up by a hazardous floor you can't walk on? Well, that's because of transit lava. I've personally never been a fan of it, and only after hundreds of hours of playtime have I mastered how to traverse across maps, across lava spaces without going down. A lot of the time, it's impossible for you to actually survive crossing lava-infested areas without having Juggernog. And on top of that, if zombies walk within the lava, they suddenly become explosive. And I've died many times because of this, and I'm sure you all have as well. Number 6. The Tortured Path. Unlike most zombies maps we've seen before, and the ones inside of WW2, the Tortured Path brings the player through 3 different submaps with the objective of surviving a total of 11 waves. Now you'd think because you have 3 small maps in comparison to 1 big map that this is actually a cool thing. And at the time it was certainly unusual but a welcome change, but the execution of this was horrible. Originally forcing players to play on an online playlist of each map back to back, where you have to complete the Easter egg for it to count into the next map, and then into the next map where you finally got the ending. Now it's fair to say that a lot of people were not fans of the change from the classic horde mode to an objective style gameplay. So once you've survived the 11 rounds and completed each map, that's really all there is. You don't have any reason to go back and replay it, and when people don't enjoy it anyway, that's not good. Now Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think around that sort of time, Sledgehammer Games didn't really have enough resources to make a full-on zombies map, which is why we got this style. But we've not had this since, and I think that's for the better, to be honest. Number 5. Fog. From the first day the Origins gameplay trailer was uploaded in 2013, fog in zombies has become a meme cemented in history. No one enjoys fog in transit, and they didn't enjoy it either in Origins, but it wasn't until the first DLC of WW2 where fog just went to a whole new level. The moment fog was revealed in the map's gameplay trailer, people were already assuming the worst, and the map certainly has a lot of fog. Some rounds are dedicated entirely to shrouding the map in fog, to the point where you cannot even see what's in front of you. Now, for a horror theme, that's pretty cool, but it is just so frustrating that players had already grown to dislike fog. To reintroduce it again in an even more deeper way, it just put people off and turned that map into one of the worst zombies maps ever made. Number 4. Random part spawns. Random part spawns were first introduced in Black Ops 2 Zombies for many of the buildables in transit, and has remained a solid mechanic in the game ever since. But when that same mechanic is regurgitated in every iteration of Zombies, and most of the main Easter egg steps and buildables require learning random part spawns by watching videos on the internet, that sort of thing no longer becomes a fun thing to do. 8 years on since this mechanic was introduced, and many maps have gone far and beyond what is acceptable for random part spawns. This is easily a feature that I would happily see gone, with just logical parts always being in one spot every game. If you agree with me and you haven't already clicked the like for that, do it now. Number 3. The Black Ops 4 Zombies perk system. Oh boy, Treyarch tried to do something good here by changing up the meta and allowing you to choose what perks you want in the map. Getting rid of some of those more useless perks you'll never pick up and replacing them with ones that you'll be getting every single game. But oh my god, did this decision backfire. Conceptually, this idea sounds amazing, be able to choose what perks you want on the map. And with this perk system, they got rid of some of the most beloved fan favorite perks, such as Juggernog, Double Tap, Speed Cola. The perk machines with the perk bottles, the icons, and just as importantly, the jingles were iconic to Zombies. It introduced a vulnerability factor in the early game, as you were vulnerable and had to plan the route you were going to take to power on the map and then get yourself Juggernog and the other perks. There is a ton more variety now with perks in Black Ops 4, but it's hard to argue that they took out an iconic backbone of Zombies mode and replaced it with a perk system that just doesn't feel like Zombies once was. What system do you prefer, the original or Black Ops 4's? Let me know down below as we move in to the final 2 in this list, with number 2, fetch quests. On a similar note to random part spawns, those are all part of fetch quests, which are now a very overused mechanic in Zombies. Black Ops 1 was the first culprit. Hey, you want to complete this cool Easter egg on Moon, but first you got to fetch this item from Call of the Dead, and then you got to fetch this item from Shangri-La. But only if you fetch those 2 items can you actually finish this last thing. And hey, welcome to Black Ops 2. If you want to do the end game Easter egg, you need to get the nav card and put it inside of Diarize, but you need to get the Diarize nav card and put it in Buried, and then get the Buried nav card and put it in Transit. And welcome to Black Ops 3 Zombies, where we got to do this quest on Shadows of Evil to get the summoning key, but then we also need to get this soul from Denizens, and we need to get this soul from Zetsubo and this soul from Gorod, so we can finally do the super Easter egg, and oh, we don't get much for it. Oh, and hello IW Zombies, you want to get a soul key from Spaceland, a soul key from Rave, a soul key from Shaolin, a soul key from Attack, and a soul key from Beast from Beyond, just so I can play an amazing boss fight and unlock Director's Cut? And hey WW2 Zombies, you want me to get this bit of the sword from this map and then that sword from DLC 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the picture. At this point, we've had nearly 8 years of Zombies that have just been fetch quest after fetch quest after fetch quest, and it's really predictable. And I've got my fingers crossed with the next Treyarch Zombies game that we finally break this fetch quest cycle and have some fresh new concepts added in instead of this fetch quest recycle malarkey. It's easy to see that as time has gone on, quests have evolved from being genuine Easter eggs to having to use the internet, as there's no way a normal player on their own will ever solve something like that in a game. Like, there's nothing wrong, and obviously if you use guides, you're going to watch a MrDalekJD guide. But I think it's a problem that's so cemented now that it will never not be a thing. But I guess what I mean is Easter eggs that are hard just for the sake of being hard, rather than actually being sensical, genuine puzzles to solve, you know what I mean? But coming in at number 1, is the launch of Black Ops 4 Zombies. I don't really need to say much. You know exactly what I'm going to say. Is Warden's office. Oh, you're kidding.
No.
You have to. No.
Oh my god, dude! God! We're so close! This Easter egg is not easy. Oh. I don't think I've ever experienced a game launch as bad as Black Ops 4 Zombies. It was literally unplayable for the first month of the game's release. I don't know how I didn't go crazy from the amount of blue screens I received trying to hunt these Easter eggs. How much time I wasted being so far in and having to reset through no fault of my own. Now, not every game is going to launch perfect, but this was an unexcusable launch. And even now has cemented the worst of Black Ops 4 into people's minds. But if you're a casual player that doesn't really play zombies and was watching people try and solve these Easter eggs, I guess there was some entertainment to be had, and many controllers broken in the process. Well, I doubt history will ever repeat itself as badly as the launch of Black Ops 4 Zombies did, but easily that is the most hated thing in recent memory. If you guys have video ideas for more top lists like this for zombies, let me know down below. Leave a like, rating, subscribe, and you can watch my previous video on your screen now, which if you click, I'll be there in just a few moments.